Have you ever watched someone stay calm in a storm and wished you could do the same? Or have you faced a moment when everything felt like too much and you needed a simple way to keep going? This video is for you. My name is BetterSelf, and here we blend personal growth with easy English so you can improve your life and your listening at the same time. Today we will learn how to build mental toughness. Practical steps to stay strong and resilient under pressure. Mental toughness is not a trait you are either born with or without. It is a skill you can train, like a muscle you can strengthen. In the next 10 chapters, we will explore what mental toughness really means, how to train it with daily habits, how to manage stress, and how to keep it for life. Each chapter includes stories, simple examples, and small exercises you can use right now. Listen carefully, take notes if you like, and try some of the short reflections I suggest. Let's begin. Chapter 1. What mental toughness really means. Mental toughness sounds like a big, heavy idea, but at its heart, it is simple. It means you have the ability to stay focused, calm, and effective when things are hard. Imagine a large tree in a storm. A weak tree might snap or be uprooted, but a tough tree bends with the wind and springs back when the storm passes. Mental toughness is that bending and returning. It is not about feeling no fear, anger, or sadness. It is about feeling those things and deciding what to do next anyway. Many people confuse mental toughness with being cold or unfeeling. They imagine someone who never cries, never doubts, and never shows weakness. That image is wrong and harmful. Mental toughness includes emotional awareness and empathy. It is the ability to accept your feelings without being controlled by them. Think of a shoreline. The waves come and go, but the shore remains. Emotions are the waves. Your inner steady presence is the shore. You can let the waves hit you without being swept away. To understand mental toughness better, hear a simple story. There was a man who trained to run his first marathon. At the start, he was optimistic. At mile 18, his body felt heavy, and his mind told him to quit. He did not stop having pain. Instead, he learned to break the race into small pieces. He focused on the next lamppost, then the next. He breathed slowly and reminded himself why he started. That marathon was not won by someone who felt no pain. It was won by someone who acted despite pain. This small example shows the essence of mental toughness. Action under discomfort. Another useful way to see mental toughness is to think of it as a set of habits. Habits are actions you take regularly. If you build habits of facing small, manageable challenges every day, your tolerance for bigger challenges grows. It's like training with light weights before lifting heavy ones. The small weights do not make you a champion by themselves, but they prepare your body so you can grow stronger over time. The same is true for your mind. Finally, mental toughness is connected to purpose. A sailor who knows their destination will endure a storm better than a sailor who drifts without a map. Why you want to be strong matters. When your goals have meaning, you will find more energy to endure. So in the next chapters, we will not only teach skills, but also help you find the small purposes that keep you moving forward. Practice noticing what matters to you. When life gets hard, return to that small purpose and use it as a compass. Chapter 2. Reframing adversity. Change the story you tell yourself. The way you describe a challenge to yourself affects how you feel and what you do. Reframing means changing the story in your mind so that an obstacle becomes an opportunity to grow. This does not mean lying to yourself or denying pain. It means choosing a helpful narrative that allows you to act. Consider someone who loses a job. One story is, I failed, and I am worthless. Another story is, this is a chance to learn new skills and find a better fit. The second story opens doors. It helps you take practical steps, while the first story shuts them. Reframing is like changing the lens on a camera. The same scene can look harsh or beautiful, depending on the lens. If you put on a filter that highlights learning and growth, problems become training grounds. If you put on a filter that highlights loss and shame, problems become traps. Practice choosing the growth lens without ignoring what is difficult. For example, tell yourself, "This pain is real. I can learn from it and become more capable." This phrase both honors the pain and points to action. Real people use reframing all the time. J.K. Rowling was rejected many times before she found a publisher for the Harry Potter books. She has spoken about using her failures as lessons and fuel. Instead of thinking of the rejections as final proof she was wrong, she used them to improve her writing and to keep going. Her reframing did not erase hardship. It gave her a way to move forward. Try a simple practice. When you meet a problem today, stop and name it. Say it out loud in one sentence. Then say a second sentence that adds a learning or action perspective. For example, "I missed this deadline. I can use this situation to understand how to manage my time better." That second sentence is a small reframe. Over time, these small shifts change how your brain responds to stress. You will find that you recover faster and make better choices. Another helpful idea is to look back at your life and find moments when a failure led to something good. This is a useful memory exercise because it trains your mind to see the hidden value in hard events. Keep a mental list or a small journal. When new problems appear, revisit that list. Your memory of past rebounds becomes a pattern that your brain trusts. You learn that falling does not mean the end. It often means the start of something new. Reframing also works well with simple phrases you repeat to yourself. Choose a short statement such as, "This is temporary," or "I can learn from this," or "one step at a time." Repeat it when you feel overwhelmed. The repetition becomes a soft habit that calms your mind and nudges you toward action. Use these phrases like tools in a toolbox. At first, you will need to reach for them consciously. With practice, they become automatic, and your inner voice will naturally help you in tough moments. Chapter 3. Build small daily habits that stack over time. Mental toughness grows in tiny increments. Big changes come from many small actions repeated day after day. If you want to be more resilient, you need daily habits that push you slightly out of comfort. These habits should be simple, measurable, and consistent. Think of them like daily push-ups for your mind. A small push-up today may feel easy, but after weeks and months, you will notice a real difference. Start by choosing one small habit that challenges you slightly. It might be getting out of bed 10 minutes earlier to do a short planning session, or taking a cold shower for 30 seconds, or speaking up once in a meeting. The goal is not to shock yourself. The goal is to create a steady pattern of small wins. Each win builds confidence and increases your tolerance for challenge. Over time, these little wins become a foundation. A story helps here. There was a woman who wanted to be more confident in public speaking. She began by practicing a 2-minute talk every morning in front of her bathroom mirror. Then she recorded short videos on her phone. After a month, she started sharing 5-minute talks with friends. She did not jump from 0 to a TED Talk overnight. She stacked small steps and let each step make the next one easier. That pattern is how mental toughness grows. Make your habits specific and easy to measure. Instead of saying, "Be more resilient," write 3 short sentences each night about what I handled well today. That is clear and quick. Use a simple tracking method. Mark an X on a calendar. Use a habit app or keep a small journal. The act of tracking creates accountability and a visual reminder of progress. Seeing a chain of daily X's is motivating. It becomes a frictionless reward system. Be mindful of the too big trap. Many people fail because they choose habits that demand too much effort. You are more likely to keep doing something small every day than something huge once. The principle of tiny habits suggests that once a small habit is established, you can add one more small habit. For example, after 2 weeks of morning planning, add a short cold exposure or a 5-minute walk. Layering small habits creates lasting change. Another key is to anchor new habits to existing routines. If you already drink coffee every morning, attach your 2-minute planning to the coffee routine. This anchoring is like tying a new branch to a strong tree. The established routine supports the new habit and makes it easier to stick. Use cues in your environment to remind you of the habit, such as a sticky note on your mirror or your running shoes by the door. Finally, remember to celebrate small wins. Mental toughness is not only about enduring pain. It is about recognizing progress and giving yourself credit. When you complete a week of your new habit, pause and notice how it feels. Say a simple phrase to yourself, "I did that." This recognition reinforces the behavior and gives the brain a small reward. Over time, these small rewards compound into big change. Chapter 4. Stress Inoculation. Train with small doses of pressure. One of the most powerful ways to build mental toughness is to practice under controlled stress. This idea, called stress inoculation, is similar to how vaccines work. Small exposures build protection. If you always avoid discomfort, your tolerance shrinks. If you face small, managed challenges regularly, your capacity to handle bigger pressure increases. This is true for public speaking, tight deadlines, conflict conversations, and physical endurance. Imagine practicing a fire drill. You do not wait until a real fire to learn how to exit a building. You rehearse, so your actions become automatic. The same principle applies to life stressors. Create safe practice moments where you experience real pressure, but in a controlled setting. If you fear public speaking, join a friendly Toastmasters club or gather a small group of friends and speak for 5 minutes. The repeated practice of handling anxiety in those safe spaces reduces anxiety in real high-stakes moments. A story that illustrates this comes from Navy SEAL training. Candidates do many small exercises that test them in uncomfortable ways. They swim long distances in cold water, carry heavy logs together, and run until they are exhausted. Each exercise is hard but controlled, and the instructors scale them so candidates learn to manage stress, team up, and keep going. The point is not to break people, but to teach them to handle high pressure with focus and cooperation. You can apply the same idea in everyday life. Start with a weekly small challenge related to your goal. If you want to improve decision-making under pressure, set a timer and make 3 quick decisions in 10 minutes on non-critical tasks. If you want to be more emotionally steady, practice having a short, honest conversation where you express one concern calmly. These controlled stress moments should feel slightly outside your comfort zone, but not dangerous. Keep them short and focused, and review them afterward to see what you learn. Use debriefs as a critical part of stress inoculation. After each practice, take 5 to 10 minutes to reflect. Ask yourself what went well, what you felt, and what you would do differently next time. This simple reflection turns a stressful moment into a lesson. It also calms your nervous system because it brings structure to chaos. Over time, the debrief becomes a habit, and your brain learns that pressure leads to learning rather than to catastrophe. Pay attention to pacing. Too much stress without recovery leads to burnout. Think of stress like exercise. You grow when you push, but you must rest to recover and adapt. Plan small stress sessions followed by restful periods. Sleep, gentle movement, and time for friends are not luxuries. They are essential parts of training. Treat your rest as seriously as your practice. When you balance effort and recovery, your mental toughness strengthens without breaking. Chapter 5. Emotional Regulation. Name it to tame it. Handling emotions is central to mental toughness. You do not need to eliminate emotion. You need to manage it so it does not control your actions. A powerful, simple practice is labeling your emotions. When you feel upset, anxious, or angry, pause and name the feeling in one phrase. I feel anxious, or I feel frustrated. Naming the feeling reduces its intensity because it moves the experience from automatic to conscious. The brain can then choose a response rather than react reflexively. Think of emotions like weather. A sudden storm may surprise you, but if you know it is a storm, you can find shelter or put on a coat. If you pretend there is no storm, you might get drenched. The act of naming is the same as checking the forecast. It gives you information and helps you prepare. Over time, this simple habit builds a steady inner climate where you can act wisely. A helpful story comes from athletes who use emotion calls during competition. A tennis player might notice rising anger after a missed shot and quietly say to themselves, "Anger," then take a slow breath and focus on the next point. This short moment of recognition prevents a chain reaction where one emotion leads to another and ruins performance. The same technique works in everyday life, from difficult meetings to tense family moments. In addition to naming, practice breathing and grounding techniques. When you notice strong emotion, take 3 slow breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Place both feet on the ground and feel the contact. These small physical actions tell your nervous system that you are safe enough to think. The body and mind are connected. Changing one changes the other. Use breath and grounding as tools to regain clarity. Another useful approach is to create a short script for high-pressure moments. For example, in stressful conversations, use phrases such as, "I hear you," or "I need a moment to think," or "let's take a short break and return." These phrases are simple and polite, and they give you time to regulate. Having them ready prevents panic and helps you keep dignity during conflict. Finally, remember that emotions provide information. They signal values, needs, and boundaries. If you feel anger, ask what boundary was crossed. If you feel sadness, ask what was lost. This inquiry, done calmly, turns emotion into a guide rather than a trap. Over time, emotional regulation helps you respond to life with intention and strength. Chapter 6. Purpose and Goals. Your compass under pressure. Mental toughness is easier with a clear purpose. When you know why you are doing something, you will endure more and focus better during hard times. Purpose acts as a compass that points you forward when the path gets rough. It does not have to be grand or permanent. Even small, specific goals can give you the direction you need. Start by clarifying one meaningful goal. Use a simple formula. What, why, and how. What is the outcome you want? Why does it matter to you? How will you take one small step forward today? For example, I want to finish a short online course. It matters because it helps me get better at my job. Today, I will study for 20 minutes. This clarity keeps your mind from wandering and makes it easier to persist. Stories of people who held firm to purpose can be inspiring. Consider a musician who practiced for years in small, quiet rooms while friends enjoyed parties. Their purpose, to share music with others, kept them through lonely nights and repetitive practice. Purpose does not remove fatigue or doubt, but it gives you a reason to tolerate those feelings and to keep working. Set goals that are specific and flexible. Specific goals give direction, and flexibility allows you to adapt when circumstances change. For instance, if you plan to train outdoors, but the weather is stormy, adapt by doing indoor strength work. Holding the outcome steady while changing the method is a hallmark of mental toughness. It shows commitment without rigidity. Another effective method is to connect daily actions to your larger purpose. Each morning, identify one small task that moves you closer to your goal. That small task becomes a promise to yourself. Keeping the promise strengthens trust in your own capacity. With time, this self-trust becomes a deep resource. You will face bigger challenges with the confidence that you will act in alignment with what matters. Finally, share your purpose with someone you trust. When you say your goal out loud, it becomes more real. A friend or mentor can offer encouragement, accountability, and perspective. Social support does not replace inner strength. Rather, it supplements it. Even the strongest people need company, and speaking your purpose aloud makes it easier to keep walking when the road is hard. Chapter 7. Physical Foundations: Sleep, Movement, and Nutrition. Your body is the foundation of your mind. Mental toughness is not purely mental. It depends on sleep, movement, and food. When your body is tired, hungry, or stiff, your mind will be weaker. Simple physical practices dramatically improve your ability to handle stress and make good decisions. Begin with sleep. The quality sleep restores your brain and helps regulate emotion. Try to keep a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends. Create a calming pre-sleep routine. Turn off bright screens an hour before bed, dim the lights, and do a short breathing exercise. Even small improvements in sleep will make your reactions sharper and your emotions steadier. Movement is another key. Regular exercise reduces anxiety, improves mood, and increases mental stamina. It need not be complicated. A 20-minute brisk walk, a short bodyweight routine, or a gentle bike ride 3 times a week will make a big difference. Movement also creates a sense of mastery. When you commit to short workouts and keep them, you build discipline that transfers to other challenges. Nutrition matters too. Our brains run on the nutrients we provide. Eat balanced meals with protein, healthy fats, and vegetables. Avoid extreme sugar spikes and highly processed foods that can make mood and energy levels swing widely. Keep hydrated. Small choices, like a glass of water when you wake and a balanced snack before a stressful meeting, help stabilize your mind. A relatable story comes from a busy entrepreneur who was about to give a major presentation. The night before, she stayed up late, ate junk food, and drank too much coffee. The next day, she felt jittery, unfocused, and anxious. After that experience, she made 3 small changes: a consistent bedtime, fish or plant-based protein in the evening, and a short walk before big events. Her performance improved, not because she trained more, but because she took care of the basics. Finally, remember that physical recovery is part of training. Like stress inoculation, balance practice with rest. Stretch, sleep more after intense work, and give yourself light days. Building mental toughness is a marathon, not a sprint. Treat your body as a partner in that journey. When you improve these physical foundations, mental skills become easier to practice and keep. Chapter 8. Social support and boundary skills. Even the most mentally tough people do not go it alone. Social support strengthens resilience, but only when combined with clear boundaries. Good relationships offer encouragement, perspective, and accountability. Boundaries protect your energy and allow you to focus on what matters. Learning to ask for help and to say no are both important parts of mental toughness. Think of a spider web. Each thread adds strength to the whole. Your social network works that way. When you face pressure, a friend can listen, a mentor can advise, and a colleague can share the load. Asking for help is not weakness. It is strategic. It lets you conserve energy for the parts of the problem you must handle. Identify 2 or 3 people you trust, and let them know you may ask for support when needed. At the same time, practice saying no to things that drain you without benefit. Boundaries are not walls. They are fences that keep your garden healthy. Saying no can be simple and kind. Use short phrases like, "I can't take that on right now," or "I need to focus on this project." These sentences preserve relationships while protecting your capacity. Over time, clear boundaries reduce chronic stress and make you more effective. A story shows how these skills work together. A manager felt overwhelmed by requests from her team and clients. She tried to say yes to everything and burned out. After a coaching session, she began delegating small tasks, asking a colleague for help with time-consuming reports, and setting office hours for meetings. She also learned to say no to non-essential projects. Her schedule became manageable, and her sense of control returned. She was not less caring, she was more sustainable. Practice small boundary conversations. If a friend asks for a favor that will stretch you thin, try, "I want to support you, but I can't this week. Can we find another time?" If a colleague sends messages outside work hours, reply the next morning and gently set expectations by saying, "I see this now. I will respond during work hours." These small habits protect your energy and create predictable patterns that others can respect. Finally, build rituals with supportive people. A weekly check-in with a friend, a short walk with a colleague, or a monthly call with a mentor provides steady connection. These rituals are like food for your resilience. They remind you that you are not alone, and they give you a safe space to practice emotional regulation and problem solving. Use social support and boundaries together to become stronger, not harder. Chapter 9. Learn from failure. Turn setbacks into feedback. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. People with mental toughness see setbacks as feedback. This mindset shift does not remove the sting of disappointment, but it changes how you respond. When you treat failure as information, you can analyze what happened, adjust your approach, and try again with new wisdom. Begin by creating a simple routine after every setback. Take a quiet moment to answer 3 questions. What happened? What could I do differently next time? What did I learn about myself? These questions turn emotion into insight. They also prevent you from replaying criticism or blame. Over time, this routine trains you to pause, learn, and move forward. A well-known example is Thomas Edison, who tested thousands of materials before inventing a practical light bulb. When asked about his many attempts, he said he did not fail. He found thousands of ways that did not work. That perspective is a classic illustration of turning failure into data. You do not need to be an inventor to use this mindset. Whether you are learning a language, building a business, or repairing a relationship, repeated experiments and adjustments create progress. Reframe mistakes as experiments with variables. Ask, which part of the plan failed? The timing, the method, the assumption. For instance, if a marketing campaign did not bring customers, maybe the offer was unclear or the audience was wrong. Small tests help you learn faster than sweeping changes. Mental toughness grows when you practice this experimental mindset repeatedly. Also, practice self-forgiveness. Harsh self-criticism narrows your thinking and reduces creativity. Instead, be honest and kind. Admit the error, make a plan, and move on. This gentleness is not indulgence. It is strategy. When your inner voice is supportive, you are more likely to take future risks and learn from them. Finally, tell a story of recovery in your life. Remember a time when you failed but later succeeded because of what you learned. Keep that story handy. When a new setback arrives, remind yourself of your past recovery. That memory is evidence that you can bounce back. Over time, a collection of recovery stories strengthens your courage and your ability to learn under pressure. Mental toughness is not a one-time achievement. It is a way of living that needs regular practice and maintenance. The final chapter shows practical routines that help you keep the gains you build. Think in terms of daily, weekly, and monthly habits that reinforce your resilience. Daily routines include a short morning check-in, a simple planning session, and an evening reflection. The morning check-in can be 5 minutes. Breathe, name one feeling, and set your intention for the day. The planning session is another 5 to 10 minutes. Pick the one most important task and a small step toward it. The evening reflection includes noting one thing you did well and one thing you learned. These small practices keep your mind trained on growth and purpose. Weekly routines are for review and connection. Spend 30 minutes each week reviewing progress on your goals. Look at what worked and what did not, and adjust your plan for the next week. Also, schedule a meaningful social connection, call a friend, go for a walk with someone, or join a group that shares your interest. These weekly rituals provide perspective and recovery. Monthly routines help you adapt and set directions. Once a month, do a longer review of your goals and your purpose. Ask big questions. Is this still important? What should I stop doing? What new small habits should I add? A monthly reset helps you avoid drifting and keeps your life aligned with your values. Routines must be flexible. Life will change, and rigid schedules can become a source of stress. Use routines as guides, not chains. If you miss a day, Do not punish yourself. Return gently and restart. The point of these routines is to create a steady pattern of practice that supports growth over years, not weeks. Finally, celebrate progress regularly. Build small rituals of recognition, a brief pause and a deep breath after finishing a hard task, a small treat after a month of consistent habits, or a quiet moment to notice how far you have come. These celebrations are not vanity. They are fuel for persistence. Mental toughness grows when you balance hard work with meaningful rest and recognition. Oh, Trin, we have covered a lot. Mental toughness is a skill built by clear purpose, daily habits, stress practice, emotional regulation, physical foundations, social support, learning from failure, and steady routines. It is not about being unbreakable. It is about bending with life's storms and returning with wisdom. Start small. Pick one practice from today and do it for 1 week. Notice what changes. You can train this skill. You will feel stronger not because the world became easier, but because you learned to handle it with more grace and choice. If you found this helpful, join our BetterSelf community by subscribing so you get more lessons that improve your life and your English at the same time. Keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, every small action builds a stronger you.